WrestleMania Night 1 Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes of WrestleMania Night 1, Raw and or SmackDown. And if they do a WrestleMania Night 3, I'll do hot takes for that too. Let's get started with Gunther tapped too soon. Yeah, ouch. I don't mind Gunther losing. What I did mind was that he tapped out like instantly. Let's just see what else other people have to say. Gunther tapping that fast to his own move should have been a federal crime. Triple H, you are officially arrested. Citizen arrest. That was from Emmanuel 2, by the way. Then we have Million Matthews. Jey Uso has now been longer world heavyweight champion than Drew McIntyre. That is not a lie. Damian Baxter making Gunther tap was a bad move. 209 Mamba. Gunther tapped out to a sleeper way too fast. Would have looked better if he held a bit longer. That I agree with. I actually don't even mind him tapping. I guess I probably would have minded last night, but when I slept on it, I'm like, yeah, it's okay if he taps, but like, he could have tapped, he could have waited like an extra like 10 seconds maybe, had a little struggle, a little drama in the thing. Ryan hates TikTok. Apparently he hates Jay also. Jay should have been squashed. He's just a catchphrase at this point. I do not agree with that. That's a little too on the other extreme for me. It's okay though if you don't like the guy, but I feel he has a lot of value in the main event. I'm actually okay with him even winning, just not like he did. Then Lights Cam AF, the Jay and Gunther match felt off and slow, very silted, okay? And then we got KB. I don't like how people are mad Gunther tapped out to Jay. Seems Gunther can dish it, but can't take it. Wrestlers use each other's finisher moves all the time. I don't see the difference here. I really don't care how quick it was. Gunther couldn't take it. Period. Yeet. Okay, so KB, this was one where like I don't care that Jay used the move. I'm okay with that because it's like, you know, when you use another wrestler's move, you're disrespecting them. But that's okay because Gunther has disrespected Jay the entire time. So I don't mind Jay disrespecting Gunther. I just don't like that he tapped so quick. To me, Gunther has been built as like an end boss. It would be like last year if Cody Rhodes had beat Roman Reigns by, I don't know, a guillotine, and Roman had tapped out instant. That would have tainted the entire, I don't know, the title run, the legacy of Roman if he had tapped out so quick. And Roman Reigns was definitely an end boss last year, still is, but he's still an end boss right now because they protected everything. Even when he lost, he was still kind of sort of protected. It took like the entire Avengers to defeat Roman Reigns. And I'm not saying that Jay shouldn't have beat Gunther clean. I'm not even saying Jay shouldn't have used his move against him. I'm saying that Gunther should have struggled for maybe 10 seconds. That's it. Just a struggle for 10 seconds, and we could have all walked away happy. It would have added drama. Could you imagine Jay struggling, saying he could have said things like, "This is for my brother. Remember what you did to my brother." It could have been so much more impactful and emotional had Gunther struggled. I'm not even saying make Gunther pass out. I'm saying make Gunther tap, but have Jay screaming for 7 seconds. 7 seconds saying, "I told you, Oos, I told you not to mess with my family." Concordant Jedi, while I think Gunther tapped too soon and he should have passed out instead, you can't argue that it's not fitting to see him suffer a bit of humiliation after the beatdown he gave Jimmy. I do agree with that statement. But other than that, I'm definitely okay with Jey Uso winning this World Heavyweight Championship. And I want you boys and girls out there in YouTube land to win this World Heavyweight Championship as well. If you're a veteran of the channel, you know what's about to happen. But if you're new to the channel, I'm going to tell you how to win this belt right here. All you got to do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell, ding, 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 notification, and maybe a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. appreciate it. One person made fun of me and they were like, gee whiz, do I have to mow your lawn too? Dude, I'm asking you for 3 clicks and a comment. Is it that difficult? I'm going to give you a $500 belt. Actually, because of, I think, the tariffs and taxes, this is now more of a $600 belt. I'm going to give it away. 3 clicks, 3 clicks and a comment. I would appreciate it. Help me follow my dream of producing wrestling content full time, and you can win this belt or any other belt. You get your pick at 20,000 subscribers. Let's move on. Sensei6472. I actually responded to him in the comments, so I'll just read his comment and read my response. The fact that people are complaining that Phoenix losing was buried is insane. So, Phoenix lost to Grande Americano, and he says that people are saying that he was buried. And my response was, I think they looked really strong and should be proud of the match. Both of them. Yeah, Rey Phoenix, wow, did a great job. The dude had, he had 24 hours to prepare for a Wrestlemania match? Like, the guy delivered. Honestly, I wish I would have, I just thought about that. The dude had 24 hours to debut on WrestleMania. Way to go, Rey Phoenix. I'm not being facetious at all. You did an amazing job last night. I'm glad Grande Americano won, but holy cow, the pressure was on and you delivered. You both of you should be super proud of your match, because it takes 2 to tango, and Grande Americano, you had to switch your entire, you had a match probably kind of in mind with Rey Mysterio, so the fact that you had to change your match on the fly too just shows how good and professional both of you are. Props. Big props. Here's Mickey. So as bad as I want to talk about Jey winning, I'm just in shock that Paul and Seth, I was in the stadium and I sat there for a good 30 minutes after the match, just in shock. It's not like I didn't expect it, but I just didn't think it would happen. Yeah, tis Mickey, I feel ya, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hijack your WrestleMania trauma. I actually said this to the Truth Man as well in the Wrestlechop Discord, that I've been there. My favorite guy, The Undertaker, lost at WrestleMania 30. The streak was broken, and I was just... my week was ruined, let's just say that. And so you just there... 30 minutes, just completely dumbfounded. Yeah, I'm with you also. On the live stream, I predicted this would happen, and yet while it was happening, I was like, no, don't do this. Why are you doing this? Even though I know why Paul Heyman was doing it. He's been mistreated by everybody and blah, 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 blah. And I get it. Roman Reigns, he's not really a good guy. He never apologized to anybody, and he has kind of sort of treated Paul Heyman like crap in the past. But that said, I still acknowledge Roman as my tribal chief, and it was heartbreaking to see Roman and even Punk, because I like them both. But yeah, it was heartbreaking to see Paul Heyman do that, and we all knew, can we really fault a snake for being a snake? It's our fault for letting Paul into our hearts. 30 minutes sitting there, that's... I'm sorry. Hopefully you got night 2 tickets as well, and you can leave happier tonight. Donatello Leonardo, I am sick and tired of people fawning over Bianca Belair's undefeated WrestleMania streak while giving Grande Americano 0 credit for being both undefeated all time in his WWE and WrestleMania career. It's a disgrace that a living legend who has been pretty poorly treated by other luchadors in WWE gets no respect or recognition, while we heap piles of praise on everyone else. Props to Triple H, though, for booking a great match for him at Mania, at least. You know what? This is a both and. We can heap praises on Bianca Belair for her undefeated streak, but you are right. We need to heap praises onto Grande Americano for his as well. You are just so right. Grande Americano deserves more, people. XZ EvoluZX. Sorry, I butchered that name. Seth turning needed to happen. Needed to happen? I'm not sure if it needed to happen. However, it does definitely freshen things up. Before Seth Rollins got stale, or even the feud between everybody got stale, they threw in a huge monkey wrench. So I will say that I do give them props for doing something like that, because it is brave. It is brave. They could have coasted. They could have coasted with Roman and Paul Heyman for forever, or given Paul back to CM Punk. But no, they decided to shake it up, which is great, because yesterday I was complaining that WrestleMania might have been a little too safe. Well, they are not doing the safe thing with this feud, and by putting Paul with Seth, that's, a lot of stories, a lot of things can happen now. So I do applaud them for doing such a move here. Jeep says, the main event carried the show. I 100% think that the main event was the best thing on the show, but I don't necessarily think it carried the show. Honestly, when I think back, there wasn't really that bad of a match on the card. Even the New Day versus the War Raiders, while not my favorite match, I didn't think it was bad. It's just like there was no I didn't have an emotional attachment to the match, which then led me to not enjoy it as much. But there was no really bad match. I will say, though, that the final match was so good, it did overshadow every match, but that's okay, it's the main event. So I believe every match was decent enough, though the main event did elevate. My main beef was it was just a really safe by the numbers WrestleMania, but hey, the right people won even, I think. It was like WrestleMania was like mashed potatoes. These mashed potatoes are pretty good, but you would like some salt. You would like a little more salt. I think that's what this WrestleMania was missing so far, just a little flavor. But overall, everything was pretty decent, in my opinion. And the last match, the final match, that definitely had some salt in it. Rich 2 times. I'm disappointed, if you ask me, that there was only 3 good matches on the card. There was Jade versus Naomi, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu, and that BFT was a WrestleMania moment, and Knight shouldn't have lost the main event. That's it. You know what? I did a review. I'm glad you mentioned that BFT. I did a review last night, and it was kind of late. I'm not making excuses, but I'm making excuses. I really wish I would have spotlit the Jacob Fatu LA Knight a little more on my review last night, because there was 2 counters that were pretty freaking amazing. We had Jacob Fatu counter, the first BFT, when he did a handstand as he was coming down. That was amazing. And then there was a top rope dive that was turned into a BFT. Both awesome matches. I was really happy with the LA Knight Jacob Fatu match, so I wish I would have spotlit that more yesterday, so I apologize to both men, even though they definitely do not know who I am. But you know what? Yeah, it's your opinion. If you're disappointed, you're disappointed. I thought it was a decent WrestleMania, but I'm sorry you didn't find as much enjoyment as I did. Articulate Doom. This was more like Wrestlemania. That's actually funny. So it looks like some people were just very meh about the whole WrestleMania. Hot take from Frank Oakley III. I think you're going to hit 20K subs by this year's SummerSlam. Let's go. Jay Brawny, Night 1 sucked. The only matches worth watching were Jade and Naomi. Fatu and Knight and the main event. All right, that's 2 people that singled out those matches specifically. Damian King, the top rope move El Grande Americano did proves he's not Gable. He has never done that move before, and that's your proof they aren't the same. There you go. Damian King has solved the case. Well, at least he has crossed somebody off the potential suspect list on who Grande Americano is. And doubling back on those other 2 comments, I would actually throw this match in as a really good match. I loved the Grande Americano versus Phoenix match. So now, if we add that to the other 3 matches, that's 4 out of 7. That's a pretty decent WrestleMania. And like I said earlier, I don't really think that any match was really bad. Just some matches weren't as as captivating as would be expected for a WrestleMania. And that's, I think, because of the poor build. Until a bit, it was mediocre till the end match. Definitely needed a bit more. I'll say Jey Uso did well, and the Paul Heyman fiasco was great, top notch. Yeah, I loved, I think Jey Uso did do pretty well. And I don't care if you say Gunther carried the match or whatever, you know what? Fine. But Jay did well enough. It wasn't a spot fest. It was a decent enough match. They told a story based upon Gunther murdering Jimmy Uso. And the Paul Heyman stuff was, Paul Heyman's facial expressions and stuff, just insane. What a manager. Donatello Leonardo, I'm not exactly a Charlotte fan, but I don't think Tiffany is going to last as a babyface. The fans are happy now because she beat the Queen, but her run hasn't been good. No, Tiffany's run hasn't been great. They tried to make Tiffany in what they wanted her to be without realizing that it goes against who she is fundamentally, because the best characters are characters that are based on the wrestler themselves times 10. Right? And not everybody can be the exact opposite of who they really are. And it doesn't look like Tiffany at this stage in the game can be someone she is not. And that's not a knock on Tiffany. She's very new and still a rookie. Maybe in a couple of years, we can start giving Tiffany different characters and different character arcs. But right now, we got to keep her what brought her to the dance if we want to have her remain strong and that connection to the crowd. Brian Goldstein, the Tiffany Charlotte Flair match is by far the worst match so far. I am glad Charlotte didn't win, but Triple H needs to take the title off Tiffany ASAP. I think he says the same, kind of like Tiffany's title reign has been kind of lackluster there. Charlotte versus Tiffany was the worst match on the card last night. I actually didn't mind it. I said this in my review. A lot of people, though, I think I'm in the minority here, though, because a lot of people were actually saying that this match is boring. I thought it was okay, honestly, but I don't know. I'm definitely in the minority on that one. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was like Ric Flair alluded to it being the greatest match on the card. I definitely disagree with that statement. However, I don't think it was the worst either. Here we go. Jimbo Slice says, Tiffany and Charlotte match was great, but felt way too polished for a match that was mostly built off a shoot nature. Was hoping to see them intentionally get sloppy with their wrestling, kind of like Drew and LA Knight did to sell the fact that there was real wrestlers involved not getting along with each other. Well, Tiffany, I think she chipped like all her teeth, and she had a big old knot on her head, so maybe there was a couple stiff shots in there, but I get what you're saying. I definitely was more interested in this match because of the Jerry Springer nature of it, and maybe that's why some people are disappointed we didn't get a shoot, a real fight for a couple moves there, but I think they pulled it off. In my opinion. KB, Naomi needed to win. I'm so upset with this WrestleMania. Cody better lose tomorrow or a crash out video will be loaded. Send me, if you know what, whether we agree or disagree, I want to see that crash out video. And if you have a crash out video about Roman Reigns even losing tonight, feel free to send it to me. Anybody, I want to do a video on rants from you, the viewers. Take your phone, do this, and then send me a link somehow. I got a Twitter, I've got Discord, I've got Reddit. There's a Reddit link. You can post it on the Reddit, and you can, I will upload that video and do a rant from you boys and girls. For Naomi, I feel that Naomi can survive this loss more than Jade. I know that's not what you want to hear, but the reason why I feel this is because Jade's almost built like she has to win, while Naomi, it's like weird because Naomi is a character now. She has a character. When you have like a great and awesome, amazing character, you can suffer more losses than someone who doesn't. So it's ironic that the people who are the strongest and have the best character character are the ones who can afford a loss more. Look at Drew McIntyre. He's lost, and yet he's still in the main event. The fans are still behind him, and Naomi has kind of maybe found herself in that spot, because even though Jade won last night, I bet you my bottom dollar that everybody is going to be talking more about how awesome Naomi is, which I am also doing the same thing, and I love Jade, but I am more impressed with Naomi right now and more interested to see what happens with her. Where does she go now? What's her revenge going to be? So Naomi losing isn't necessarily a bad thing. I hope that helps. My hero is John Cena. I hope the New Day bring new life to the Raw Tag Team division again by making the fans care about the division, because War Raiders and Judgment Day really killed it by not defending the titles. Yes. Even if there aren't teams for New Day to defend against, please, just give them airtime. Sometimes just a lot of airtime and no title defenses is enough. It's when you take the titles off of TV that they become irrelevant. It's OTW. The New Day needs to drop the unicorn crap. Laughing face emoji. Not a hot take, just a fact of life. Well, since it's not a hot take, I won't respond. Shazam Hassan. Number 1, Triple H. WrestleMania crowns don't exist. 2, Gunther's tapping was terrible. WWE finally remembers how to book him these past few weeks, and now they're just going to need years to rebuild him. Number 3, this might have spoiled the surprise, but I think they should have done a better job showing Heyman grow sick of Punk and Roman's nonsense over the past few weeks. I understand that, but I think it would have spoiled the surprise. Unlike John Cena and The Rock doing their whatever they're doing, I believe that Paul Heyman is a stickler for story and detail, so I believe that we will see in the coming weeks why Paul Heyman did it, and it'll make all the sense in the world. Paul Heyman knows how to weave and tell a story. The Rock and John Cena, I think they kind of just did it like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then they're like, maybe we should have came up with a story before. Nah, we don't need a story. DDE Nation, Stand and Deliver over WrestleMania Night 1. Every match on Stand and Deliver was 5 stars. Honestly, NXT is a better product. It just is. To me, NXT is a better product, and I will never compare a main roster PLE to NXT, because NXT is just so good, and it just sucks because I really want to watch and devote time to NXT, but I can't because my job is so centered around the day of Tuesday. Mohammed, I apologize, I'm not able to pronounce your last name, but the whole Jey Uso winning, this was a debacle to say the least. I mean, they did it just for the moment of what it would look like for the whole 60,000 crowd to be yeeting, but I don't think they were able to get that. The whole celebration of Jey Uso was very subdued. Yeah, maybe. You could be right. I think Jey Uso came out of the crowd, down the crowd. He didn't yeet like crazy so he could save some cardio, because that, like, believe it or not, just coming down the entrance, your adrenaline is pumping. You could be gassed by the time you get to the ring, and it didn't look like everybody was there either. So the trying to get that yeet shot of 60,000 probably wasn't as good as WWE wanted it to be, but it's WWE. Their production is so high, I'm sure they got the shots they needed. That said, I don't think it was a debacle other than the choke at the end. You know, we should have just, the submission at the end. He just should have, if we could have just added 7 seconds. Slow burner. Everyone hating the Tiff Charlotte match like it wasn't the closest thing to a real fight in a long time. Yeah, I mean, Tiffany got her teeth knocked out, or chipped at least. And I didn't really have a problem with it. I just did it. I think a lot of people just don't like it. I'm not saying this to everybody. I'm not lumping everybody in this. If you just did not like that match, it's okay. However, I do think that a lot of people just hate Charlotte so much as a person, not even a character, that they're unwilling to acknowledge that she had a good match, a decent match even, or that she put somebody over. I think it's just like, oh, Charlotte Flair. 5 years ago, she did this. Reality Rick. The War Raiders vs. New Day was a glorified Raw match and a slap in the face to SmackDown Tag Team Division, objectively speaking. They spent half the match talking about Clash of Clans, and the War Raiders came out to Clash of Clans outfits. I can't get through this match. I had to take a walk. I would have so much rather had a fun TLC 3 tag team match. That is a very fair and valid statement. I love that the New Day won at WrestleMania, but there was really no story here. And for the TLC match between Street Profits, DIY, and Motor City Machine Guns, it should have been on the card. It should have definitely been on the card, and I do feel that that was the wrong play by Triple H and company. Shadow, the Heyman heel turn was the most predictable thing if you know jack all about wrestling. Yes, I know predictability doesn't always mean a bad thing because the turn was cool, but Heyman's facial expressions, both Lobos, were pure gold. Made me laugh. Yeah, Paul Heyman was... He performed a performance of a lifetime, Paul Heyman. Solo Dolo. I love that name. Solo Dolo. This was the best triple threat main event I've seen in a long time. Honestly, it's probably it probably is the best triple threat that... Is it maybe? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the Gunther, Drew, Sheamus triple threat, but this one's up there. This one is definitely up there as one of the better, if not best, triple threats. It was good and crazy that there were no stakes other than Paul Heyman. But yeah, I agree with you. Great match. So good. Everybody played their parts to perfection. Kenny Hudson, Roman is the only Samoan that didn't win. He didn't win, and it wasn't even for the gold like the others. Yeah, kind of crazy if you think about it. That's 2 losses for Roman Reigns. However, that's his 10th WrestleMania main event, and so, 10 WrestleMania main events, that's insane. That is insane. So, yes, he ate a loss, but nobody can say that, Roman. You are the tribal chief, and I wish... I don't know. I was rooting for all 3 people. That was such a good match. It pulled at all the heartstrings. It pulled at all the emotions. And I did love it. I did love that triple threat. Roman Reigns, I do acknowledge you. Seth Rollins, you're a mad genius. And CM Punk, well, hey, you got your first main event, so you got that off the bucket list. So, boys, girls, that's your hot takes for today. I think I didn't get as many about the Paul Heyman as I thought I would, but I think everybody is just sleepy and getting ready for today. I'm gonna try to take a nap so my yawn counter on my review can be lower than yesterday. Boys, girls, have yourself a wonderful day. I'll see you tonight. WrestleMania hot takes tomorrow. Raw tomorrow. Lots going on. We're smack dab at WrestleMania season.